Throughout all of our lives, we are taught that our beaches are a place of comfort, nourishment, and fulfillment. But due to the impacts of humans, the places that we feel most comfortable are coming under attack. Sea level rise is one of the most critical issues of this generation, and is something that we have all heard every day. We live in a world where information flows in one ear and out the other. But are we really sure that we want to wait and ignore something that can and will destroy the livelihoods of millions? In light of a wave of pressing scientific information, communities all up and down the coast of California are starting to talk, take basic actions, and actively communicate with those who are being affected. To do this, new technology is beginning to be implemented to play a vital role in how we examine how our coastlines are changing. We can use new tools such as unmanned aviational vehicles, or more commonly known as drones, to take detailed photos and videos of our coastlines.
Human activities are causing our climate to change, and this is starting to have a large effect on our oceans. Increased levels of CO2 in our atmosphere have caused a rise in global temperature. These factors directly correlate to the rising of our global sea level. Some of the main reasons for sea level rise are increased levels of thermal expansion coupled with the melting of the polar ice caps. Thermal expansion is defined as the expansion of water when exposed to increased levels of temperature. As our climates continue to warm, our oceans will expand in size because of thermal expansion. Each year, Greenland loses over 270 billion tons of ice as the planet warms. This amount of loss is rapidly increasing as we continue to destroy our world.
The general consensus among scientists is that our oceans will rise 3 feet by the end of the century. However, these estimates have recently been considered to be extremely conservative and under the worst-case scenarios. The climate-driven sea level rise could exceed 2 meters by the end of the century, putting U.S. land, currently home to millions, in danger and at risk of permanent inundation. More immediately, sea level rise are adding to the height of climate change. According to the Climate Central, located in Princeton, New Jersey, the combined tide and storm surge events, or storm tides, increased the frequency of extreme coastal flood events. Sea level rise will be exacerbated as climate change continues to create larger storms and heighten the risk of flooding in coastal areas.
Sea level rise is a global issue, but we must remember that this is not an issue that only affects faraway places or future generations. Using Cosmos, a sea level rise simulator that was designed by the United States Geological Survey, we can see how predicted sea levels will affect our local communities. This tool uses the most up-to-date science and technology available to provide a user-friendly application that allows viewers to see how their homes will be affected by sea level rise. The first slide shows current sea levels at Pierpont Beach in Ventura, California. Now we can see 25 centimeters of increased sea level. Now 50 centimeters. Now 75 centimeters. And finally 100 centimeters, which is a conservative estimate of sea level rise that is predicted to happen by the end of the century. However, sea level rise is a very dynamic system, and scientists must incorporate potential flooding combined with heightened seas. The next slide shows an annual flood combined with sea level rise. Then, a 20-year flood. Lastly, a 100-year flood that would almost drown the entire Pierpont community.
We conducted interviews with local Pierpont residents to see their views on the issues and recount their own personal stories of previous floods.
I've lived on the coast for 25 years.
So you were here during the 1992 as well as 2015 floods?
Yes, I have.
And can you describe 1992?
Barely. I can describe it was rough. I mean, I know that I boarded up my entire house with plywood, and the waters came in pretty heavily. It was sunny. It was bright. It wasn't raining. It wasn't it was windy, but it wasn't what you would think you would have for such a high tide. So that was an El Nino tide, I believe. So.
Yep. And how would you describe the 2015 flood?
Not bad.
Not bad. So the 1992 flood was the worst one.
Way worse. Well, 83 was the worst.
And can you describe that?
I can only because this house was on the front page of the Los Angeles Times.
Oh, wow.
And it went right through the entire house and hit the neighbors that way.
And was this house damaged at all, or?
It was completely blown out all the way through.
Wow.
That was 83. I didn't live here, so I've got this house in like 89.
And then do you remember the 2015 flood? Do you remember how far the water came up?
Of course I do. So what I do every year is I sandbag here, but in that year, I did a double one. I did one across here, and I did one across here. I go down there, and it came raging down that way. So it slaps over, really slaps over here, and goes right over here. It's pretty heavy. But I can tell you that the reason that it's better, when I moved here 25 years ago, you would take stairs right there down to the beach, really rock. Yeah. So it was, the beach level's about 20 feet higher. And that's because the Army Corps of Engineers came in. They put a groin on that jetty right there like this, over groin, spur.
Yeah.
And they rebuilt out there at the breakwaters. So that changed the movement of the sand. The sand stayed here. Now it stays here where the city has to take it out.
And then do you think that the dunes that have accumulated on the beach, do you think that they're helpful in preventing these slips?
Yes.
And by
However, there sometimes it comes in so heavy that it comes up to the top of here and rolls over here. So about once every 6 weeks, I have to get a crew in here to take the sand out and put it into the street. The city takes it out, and we remove it.
And that's
At my expense.
Wow. And that's all at your expense.
Yes.
And that's every 6 weeks, you said?
Well, every couple months. During the winds. The winds get like very heavy.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's pretty much all the questions. So I had another specific question. Are you at all worried about future sea level rise affecting this property?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, not just for me personally. No, I would say I'm more concerned nationally about the weather, the fires, not just this. I feel a little safer with this. It isn't like the fire that happens so fast. I think we have a terrible problem. I do, and it's not just for me. I don't care where you live. I mean, the flats that you thought fires would never come to burn down. So with the problems, the wind, with the changes in the climate, and we're not addressing, it concerns me terribly.
Excellent.